Hi, Mia.
We had a talk earlier and we discussed the fact that South Africa's airline industry already has two strong broadline or broad-based suppliers, and then we have the three very good and well-known budget airlines. Was there ever actually room for a fourth budget airline in this space?
Yes, there is, because the Johannesburg-Cape Town route is actually one of the busiest in the world, definitely in the top 10. So there is space for it done properly. There's space to actually open up the country to other destinations within the country. So there's definitely space for a well-run budget airline.
And we discussed also the fact that the management behind these airlines and the way it is run is very important. We know that two of those budget airlines that we see is backed by the likes of BA, and then the other one by SAA, and they get that inflow of all the expertise, the knowledge that industry already has. What do you need to manage an airline?
Yeah, two of the major carriers have their subsidiary, their low-cost subsidiary. And that subsidiary gets the benefit of engineering, of skills, of bulk buying, really. What you need to run a low-cost airline is to fly at the right time from the right airport to the right destination. You have to have the people who have the savvy or the airline savvy to actually run it. Running a business is not the same as running an airline. It's two totally different things. It's not a commodity. I'd liken it more to fast-moving consumer goods than anything else. It's got an expiry date, a seat has an expiry date, and it's how you fill that seat. So you need the benefit of revenue analysis and everything else to go with it.
So making you a good investor and someone who knows an opportunity when they see it is not enough to succeed in this industry.
Not at all.
All right, that brings me to Velvet Sky. We saw the liquidation coming through. The court has ordered it, and there was no space by the judge left for any intermediation in that sense for them. Would you think that they actually had a fair chance if we look at the JB Group saying that they wanted to give all the creditors 5 cents in the rand? Was there really space for this offer in there?
No, there's two sides to that. Number one, that debt or the lack of money going back to the actual creditors is making the airline community and its ancillary business that goes around it a lot poorer. They've got to increase prices to try and come up with 100, 200 million rand between them to keep on running. So from that point of view, no, it's bad for industry. From the side of they could keep on going and give their creditors 5 cents in the rand, definitely wouldn't work. And there's two reasons for that. The one side is that, number one, I wouldn't do business with somebody that just paid their debt at 5 cents on the rand. The second side of it is that their name was in the toilet because of leaving people stranded, etc. So how are you going to pick yourself up off the ground, dust yourself off, and come back and expect people to believe in you and give you a service again? It just won't work.
Now, Allan, you mentioned that there's definitely space in this industry for another operator or a budget operator, if we want to look at it that way. The problem, though, is that it takes a couple of years to acquire the operating license, and that was exactly what Velvet Sky had. So that was, I think, what everyone wanted to buy. And is it that difficult to get it back?
No, if you've got your ducks in a row and you've got everything correct, you're going with decent equipment, safe equipment. It's all about safety. That's what people forget. It's not about a license. It's about being safe. And as long as you've got everything in place, it's not difficult. It's ticking the boxes. Have you got it? Yes or no. So to think that you have to buy somebody else's license, that doesn't work. You've just got to be safe. You've got to meet all the criteria that the Civil Aviation Authority put out, and you'll be flying. It's not rocket science.
Literally flying.
Absolutely.
So if we see a new entrant into this market, an application for an operating license, and then if it is allocated and we see a new entrant, will the creditors actually trust a new entrant without a big backer?
Well, the major creditors are obviously fuel, engineering, security, that type of stuff. Absolutely, and it depends who's behind it. You have to take people at face value as when they're coming in. You can't discriminate, and you have to supply them the service. It's an airport, so it's really important. So it's really who's behind it, as to how they'll perform, not to whether people will give them the business credit or not.
Thank you, Allan.
Absolute pleasure.
That was Allan Moore, CEO of the Board of Airline Representatives of South Africa.